Stay safe out there, everybody, especially President Trump, because there's a whole other storm.
Porn star Stormy Daniels suing President Trump.
Okay. I know we're getting numb to the Trump presidency.
Remember when presidents were boring? Well, not anymore. Trump's throwing a tantrum over late-night TV jokes, and it's wilder than his hair in a wind tunnel. Seriously, folks, the man who used to fire people on national television can't handle a few zingers from Kimmel and Colbert. It's like watching a reality show where the star forgot he's not the producer anymore. Stick around to see just how deep this rabbit hole of ridiculousness goes.
A porn star is suing the president. We have not seen anything like this since the famous headline, "It's a natural defense mechanism," but let those words sink in for a second. The woman in question here again is porn star, and I'm gonna guess future chief of staff, Stormy Daniels.
Remember when presidents could take a joke? Well, those days are long gone. Our former commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, is about as good at handling criticism as he is at styling his hair, which is to say, not very good at all.
$130,000 right before the election to keep their affair a secret. I don't know why. If I were her, I would keep that secret for free. She's proven she can handle the staff. Now, Miss Daniels received, thank you, received. Daniels is suing Donald Trump over the confidentiality agreement, alleging that it is invalid because while both she and Trump's attorney signed it, Trump himself never did.
Enter the late-night comedy crew led by Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. These guys have been poking fun at Trump like it's their full-time job.
So this is the thing Trump thought was too sketchy to put his name on. What about Trump University? Or Trump's lawyer could have just forged Trump's signature. All he would need is a seismograph. CBS will not permit me to say the colloquial term, so let's just call them penis portraits.
And let's be honest, it kind of is. They've turned mocking the Donald into an art form, and boy, does it get under his skin. Trump's reactions to these jokes. Let's just say they're about as measured and presidential as a toddler's temper tantrum in a toy store. He's fired off angry tweets, ranted at rallies, and even tried to get Kimmel fired. Talk about a guy who can't take a joke. But let's give credit where it's due. Kimmel and Colbert know how to land a punchline. Kimmel's been calling Trump grumpy Trumpy and joking about his diet of hamburgers and coffee.
It hints at something even juicier because it mentions that Daniels is in possession of confidential information. We may not have to wait for Stormy Daniels. I'm pretty sure Don Jr. is just going to tweet them out. Way to go, Dad's penis. I came out of that. That includes certain still images and/or text messages from Trump.
Colbert, not to be outdone, has perfected his Trump impression, complete with tiny hand gestures and random capitalization. These jokes aren't just for laughs, though. They're keeping the Stormy Daniels scandal front and center in people's minds. Every time Trump loses his cool over a late-night zinger, it reminds everyone of the very thing he's trying to make us forget.
Because those names are actually abbreviated in the suit as two of Trump's favorite things: double D's and pee-pee. And we haven't even gotten to my favorite part about the lawsuit, which is that the confidentiality agreement refers to Trump as David Dennison, or referring to Daniels as... Now, it turns out using campaign funds to pay off your porn star mistress could be a violation of campaign finance law.
It's like he's playing whack-a-mole with scandals, but the moles are jokes, and he's really bad at the game. So what's next in this comedy showdown? Will Trump start his own late-night show to fire back? Will he try to ban jokes by executive order? Or will he finally learn to laugh at himself? Spoiler alert, probably not that last one.
I see you got a problem here, boss. If you want, I could make it go away for about a year and then come roaring back to bite you in the ass. Stephanie Clifford, of course, is Stormy Daniels' real name. She changed it so she would not be confused with Clifford the Big Red Porn Star. Trump lawyer and man doing self-prostate exam, Michael Cohen. Cohen is generally referred to as Trump's fixer.
But here's the real kicker. Colbert's Trump impressions have really gotten under the ex-president's skin. It's like watching a bull charge at a red cape, except the bull is orange and the cape is a comedy sketch. Trump's face probably turns as red as his tie every time Colbert opens his mouth. But hey, it's not just about getting laughs. These comedians are doing more than just entertaining us. They're changing the way we talk about politics, and that's no joke. Ever wonder why your kids know more about Trump's shenanigans than you do? It's not because they're reading the New York Times. Nope, they're getting their political fix from guys like Kimmel and Colbert. These comedians are turning dry politics into must-see TV. But is this new breed of political commentary just fun and games, or is it reshaping the electoral landscape?
Just because something isn't true doesn't mean that it can't cause you harm or damage. I will always protect Mr. Trump. Cohen continued, neither the Trump organization nor the Trump campaign was a party to the transaction with Ms. Clifford. This isn't cab fare or a coffee order. Don, don't worry about this one. You get the next porn star.
Let's face it, young voters are ditching the stuffy news anchors faster than Trump ditches his lawyers. They're tuning into late night shows for their daily dose of political drama. And why not? It's way more fun to learn about scandals from a guy who can actually make hush money sound hilarious. Meanwhile, traditional news sources are losing viewers quicker than Trump loses his cool on Twitter. It's like watching Grandpa trying to use TikTok, painfully out of touch. These comedy shows, though, they're breaking down complex political issues better than a lawyer on Red Bull. They're taking all that boring legal mumbo jumbo and turning it into something you can actually understand without a law degree. And get this, it's not just entertainment. These funny guys are actually influencing how people think about politics. A study found that watching political comedy makes young voters more likely to show up on election day. It's like they're sneaking vegetables into a kid's meal. You're having fun, but you're also getting something good for you.
He has got to be the greatest wingman of all time. In fact, just today, Michael Cohen put that promise into a music video. Learned that Cohen's payment to Stormy Daniels was reported as suspicious by his bank. I don't know why. The memo line of the check specifically said, not hush money for porn star.
But here's where it gets really interesting. All these jokes about Trump, they're not just bouncing off his very thick skull. Polls show that younger voters are getting more and more fed up with Trump. Many of them are pointing to these late night roasts as the reason they're changing their minds about the Orange Man. It's like death by 1,000 punchlines. So, what does this mean for future elections? Well, if politicians don't start brushing up on their comedic timing, they might find themselves as irrelevant as a MySpace account. We might even see candidates trying to land zingers in debates instead of just yelling at each other. But here's the million-dollar question. Can all this laughter actually change anything? Are we just chuckling our way to the same old political circus, or are we on to something bigger? So what's the final score in this epic showdown between Trump and comedy? Well, folks, it looks like laughter might just come out on top. Who knew that a bunch of late-night jokesters could rattle the cage of a former president so effectively? Next time you're snorting at a Trump joke, remember you're not just having a good time. You're part of a political movement. Yeah, you heard that right. Your chuckles are chipping away at power structures one punchline at a time. It's like voting, but way more fun, and you can do it in your pajamas. Who knows? Maybe by 2028, we'll wise up and elect a president who can take a joke. Imagine a leader who responds to criticism with a witty comeback instead of a Twitter meltdown. Now that would be a plot twist worthy of a late night monologue.